Hello and good morning, beautiful friends. It is day 7 of our January boot camp. Letting go, resetting, decluttering. Ah, my goodness, I love that topic so much. And it's such a great thing to do right in the beginning of the year, to reset, reboot, you can call it that as well, and just create new patterns, take that beautiful energy of flipping the calendar to a new month, to a new year, and then just being present in it and enjoying each other's company and support as we all witness each other's growth, as we hold space for each other, and knowing that we're not doing this alone. To me personally, that is huge. I am such a lone warrior. I have been such a lone warrior for so many decades. And going into the space of a group journey is just a wonderful thing that I very, very much enjoy. So I've been doing this for several years now. Some of you have been part of this journey multiple times, and you see the results. You see what happens when you are dedicating yourself, when you are actually taking the time and you are doing it with intent and with consciousness. So that is my wish for you today, that you get some wonderful inspiration, that you get clarity, that we're doing some cool exercises together that really help you to move this into the next level and then really give you what you need to be consistent, because that's what it's all about. We can go to a million workshops and then we're all inspired while we're there, and then 3 days later we barely even remember what the person talked about. I've had that happen. I just took a workshop in the end of December, middle of December, and I just looked at my notes and I went, oh yeah, that's right, we talked about this. Oh, that's right, I made that decision, and so on. So we need to have something in place, a structure that helps us with the consistency of it, and that's exactly what I'm offering you here. I'm very grateful for everybody who has signed up for our group. Our group has grown quite a bit. We almost doubled in size since December, and I'm so grateful to every single person who jumped in. And I'm also very grateful for all of you who very specifically subscribed to this bootcamp right now. So some of you are actually getting the coaching sessions, and we are going to continue with these videos once a week on Wednesday mornings. I know I've gotten a lot of messages with people saying, sorry, I have to work, I have other engagements going on, I'm making my own videos. A lot of you guys are healers and you have your own structure as well. So you just enjoy it. Gotta have my little tea here. You just enjoy it at your own time, and then you can check in at any time when it works for you. I totally respect your schedule and I understand we all have busy lives, okay? So today, day 7 and our first official gathering for this very specific course, Reset, Let Go, Declutter. And when you hear the title, I know our first thoughts usually are, oh, this is about decluttering my house. This is about resetting my space. This is about letting go of the items that don't serve me anymore. And I would like to take it deeper. Yes, there is the environmental decluttering and there is all the internal decluttering. And that's why my tagline is from the inside out. Because when you do declutter thought patterns, when you declutter emotions that don't serve you anymore, when you do declutter certain things in your diet and behaviors, patterns that don't serve you anymore, then of course you will also see the ramifications, you will see the ripple effect that then naturally goes into your household and also your car, your office, and just your general life will become easier. And you will also notice how you just simply don't surround yourself with that much stuff. So it works on all levels. My intent mostly is mental decluttering, and I'm talking about myself here right now. I have found some very interesting patterns this last year. Some of them were about not belonging, some of them were about not being good enough, and there were some other things that I became aware of that might not necessarily fit with who I am right now, and yet there are deep unconscious patterns that I still have from my childhood that I'm tapping into, and I realized that just doesn't serve me anymore. One of the biggest things I came up with last year was also that I actually betrayed my family by moving away. And that was huge, how much guilt I carried, how much shame I still carried, even having been gone for 34 years, that there is still a part that's beaten myself up for not being the good daughter, the loyal sister, the niece, and whatever other roles I'm playing in that family, that I have essentially left them. And that was huge when I came up with that. And that just happened in early December, that I watched a very interesting show called Undone. And all of a sudden it hit me like a ton of bricks. Oh my God, I'm carrying guilt. I didn't act according to the plan that my family had for me, you know, the marriage, the accountant career, or whatever else they were wishing for me, and being very close to them and all that. And I just moved 10,000 kilometers away. So that was a biggie. And it's those patterns that we're not even consciously aware of that get us down so often, that are slumbering in the background, and then they just show up here and there. And then they turn out to be self-sabotages, and they turn out to come out in coping mechanisms that we don't like. And they become those habits and those patterns that we beat ourselves up over. So I would like for you, as I'm giving you my own examples, to also look at your own life and what are some of the things that you carry shame and guilt, that you're beating yourself up over, that you're feeling that you're not being good enough or not worthy or undeserving. Those are always the top three. Undeserving, not worthy, not good enough. Tja. And we all carry them. I've never met anybody who doesn't carry them. Now, some of us have been doing a lot of work with it, and we've gotten a pretty good general attitude about it. And we're getting kinder to ourselves and others. We're not beating ourselves up as much as we used to. There is a higher level of acceptance that we have, and then some people are still pretty trapped in that low vibrational mindset. And they spend a lot of time in their head, constantly correcting, constantly criticizing, constantly berating themselves. I used to be that person, trust me, and thank God for NLP, 30 years of NLP, 20 years of shamanism, 20 years, almost 20 years of mystery school. That has really helped me to reprogram my neurology so that most of the time those little downfalls, those little downward spirals just don't take as long, and they don't go nearly as deep, and I'm just not nearly as hard on myself. So even as I am sitting there and I'm noticing a pattern that I'm doing, and I'm going, oh, really, Christiane, you're still doing that? And then the next thought is, be kind to yourself. I know this is happening for a reason. You are working on it, and it's just getting better and better. It just keeps getting better and better. So give yourself grace, be kind to yourself, be hopeful, have positive expectations, and then keep doing the work. So what does it really mean to create a positive mindset? To get ourselves out of those downward spirals of self-criticism or self-judgment? That in that moment when you're doing it, when we're doing it, that there comes that moment of, oh, I'm doing it. And that is the choice point right there in that moment. The strategy that I've learned over time, and actually I wrote a book about it. In my second book, in the, it was in the 2008, I think I wrote that book. And it's called From Personal to Global Transformation. I talked about, it all starts out with awareness. First, you got to become aware. If you don't know that you're doing it, there's nothing you can do about it. So just that point of awareness is essentially the kicker. That is the trigger right there, the anchor. That is the choice point for you to now go, oh, well, then I'm just going to keep doing it, and I'm just going to keep downward spiraling, and I'm just going to be rating myself, blah, blah, blah. Or you train yourself in that very moment to say, thank you, I caught myself. Hey, I'm aware. Hey, I just caught myself doing it again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the awareness. Thank you, brain. Thank you, myself. Whatever works for you. Find the language structure that works for you, because the language we're using, the words that are coming out of our mouth, the words that we're thinking in our brain are the direct cause of the emotion we are able to feel. So when I am not catching myself and I'm in my self-criticism thought spiral, then I'm actually getting into sadness, fear, self-hatred, frustration, those kind of emotions. And you can feel it right there. It's a lower frequency that I'm then sending out into the universe. And then the universe will give me matching experiences. People, circumstances, things. In the moment that we do catch ourselves and we're doing the other choice, so we're not just continuing the thought pattern, we're choosing to say, thank you. Thank you for catching myself. Thank you for having the awareness. Thank you, part that is still in that trap of self-criticism, for allowing me to have the awareness to catch that thought right now. Thank you. And I know that you're serving some purpose. You want me to be a good person. You want me to evolve. You want me to show up for other people, and so on and so on. And that instantly changes your emotion, because now you're grateful. Now you're accepting. Now you're present. Now you can be happy that you caught yourself. And that is a completely different frequency. That in that very moment of catching yourself doing the negative thing, you're sending out into the universe. And you are changing it. You're creating a different trajectory in that very moment. So let's all go there. Let's just take something that we are habitually criticizing ourselves for. I can't believe I'm still drinking so much coffee. I can't believe I'm still putting so much sugar in myself. I can't believe that I'm gravitating to all these processed foods and that I'm not compelled to eat fruits and vegetables, for example. Oh, I can't believe that my finances are so crappy. I can't believe that I tanked this deal. I can't believe that this thing didn't work out. Why am I still in this financial situation? Oh, I'm so afraid what the government is doing. Oh my God, the recession. All financial woes. Health. My back is aching. It's just aching, and it's been aching for 3 days. Or I have a snotty nose. Or, I have a slight headache. Whatever, any kind of physical ailments. Or just lifestyle choices that you're making, that you're still exhibiting patterns that you consider self-sabotaging. What else do we have? Work. Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh my God, they're gonna fire me. Oh my God, I've been waiting for this promotion, it's not happening. Oh, I have too much workload, I'm overwhelmed. My calendar is too full. I haven't had a vacation forever. So am I hitting them all? Health, wealth, relationships, career and lifestyle. Oh, I haven't touched the relationships yet. I have this issue with that person. It just keeps getting worse and worse. I'm worrying about them. They are mistreating me. I'm not as kind as I wish I would be. Blah, blah, blah. The list just goes on and on and on, you guys. And I really believe at this point that life is going to give us issues, and life is going to give us challenges, and life is going to give us opportunities to grow, and it's just going to be part of life. My mentor, Susie Smith from the 90s, when I first learned NLP, said, you know what? Issues are never going to go away, but they're going to be a lot more fun. And we're collecting the tools to deal with them differently. And after 30 years of doing this work, I can definitely second that. The issues I'm dealing with nowadays are not nearly on the self-deprecating level that I used to hang out. My MO, my baseline was so steeped in self-judgment and self-criticism that 95% of the thoughts going through my head were actually negative and self-depreciating, self-deprecating, and pulling me down, making me feel absolutely not good enough, and what do I have to give, what kind of value do I have, and stuff like that. And that was ongoing, ongoing. And that was my huge wake up in NLP when I sat there and for the first time in my life I heard, and I actually took it in, that we have choice about the thoughts that go through my head. Before then, I didn't know how to handle it. And I did not have the awareness to go, oh, I'm doing it again. I can absolutely remember that before I turned 28 and started this work for real. What a trip. And to imagine living like that, wow. I can go back to being 20 years old. Oh my God, just walking into a room full of people, total panic attack, absolute anxiety. Nobody likes me. Nobody wants to talk to me. Oh my God, I'm ugly. I'm this, I'm that. Oh my God, I had the list. And then over time, by becoming aware of it, practicing that awareness, I realized what I was doing. And then I got to check it with reality. Is it really true that nobody likes me? Is it really true that people go, there's Christiane? Versus people smiling at me and coming to me and saying, hey, it's so good to see you. How have you been? It's been a while. I'm so happy that you're here. And I started checking my reality and that I was just making this up in my mind. Who says that nobody likes me? And that I'm not good enough, nobody wants to talk to me and hang out with me. What a craziness when you really think about it. And so then I started changing it over time with constant practice of awareness and then acknowledgement. I acknowledged my feelings, I acknowledged those thoughts, and then I started asking myself different questions. So how does it serve me to think that way? What's my positive intent for having that be my belief? That I'm ugly, that I don't have anything of value to give, that I'm useless, that I'm worthless. Where does this come from? And that's the NLP work that I love so much. To really look at the core. Where did we learn that? That's not a little baby sitting there going, I'm useless, I'm worthless, I'm not good enough. In my belief system, baby's core is pure and whole and complete. And then you can talk about nurturing and nature. There are certain patterns that are lodged in our neurology, in our genealogy, because of the issues that our parents and grandparents and ancestors didn't deal with. And those are being passed on. And now multi-generational healing is all the rage. We're now consciously and collectively becoming aware of that. And that is so powerful. I'm so excited about this. And now I can immediately talk to someone and say, oh yeah, multi-generational issues and blah, blah. And they're like immediately, yeah, they get it. Because it's now mainstream. We now have that language, we now have that framework that we can actually talk about those things. And the research is absolutely overwhelming, and you never even have to be exposed to it yourself through your parents or grandparents or even your great-grandparents. It can literally go back many generations, 100+ years. Things that happened in our culture, in our family system, that we never even were exposed to, and still deeply lodged in our mind, in our consciousness, in our neurology. That is just mind-boggling to me. And it makes total logical sense that things that my great-great-great-great-grandparents had to deal with because of hunger, and there were famines, and then there were diseases, and there were wars, and hardship, and Great Depression, whatever else, that then got transferred to the kids, to the beliefs that the parents gave them. Then they passed that on to their kids, and they passed it on to their kids. And then I'm the little kid sitting here, and my dad is telling me that I have to eat my whole plate because you can't waste any food, and buying just enough for the meal. And then we're sitting there going, hey, I want seconds. No, you don't get any seconds. You know, just stuff like that. And I still have those patterns. Gotta eat my whole plate. Don't eat too much. There won't be enough for tomorrow. When is the next meal gonna come around? We don't have enough meat. Just all that stuff that he had to deal with, that his parents, his grandparents, his great-grandparents had to deal with over centuries. When you really look at history, and I'm not even gonna get into political and religious beliefs. That's not the place for it, but you know they're there, and you know what your belief system was when you grew up, and the things that your parents told you, and your caregivers, your neighbors, your society, about what to do to be a good person, and how to show up in society. So once we have the awareness, acknowledgement is the next level. That's the thank you. Thank you. Thank you for catching myself. Thank you, voice that's rambling here in my brain, telling me those kind of things, because I know that you're carrying a message for me. I know that you're trying to teach me something. I know that you're holding some kind of value for me. And that is what I love most about NLP. That every part, essentially, at its core, is good and wants to help us. That is the basis of parts work. And there is actually a book right now that is getting a lot of traction. There are no bad parts. This is the work of Virginia Satir. In the 70s, she came up with that we are made of many, many parts, and then ultimately a healthy individual, a mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually healthy person is someone who has figured out to bring all of their parts together and to honor all of the parts, to love all the parts, and then to communicate with them. So when I have this part that's saying to me, oh, you need to lose weight and you need to work on this and that, and this is not working for you, that's not working for you, I can ask that part, so what's your positive intent for me? That you're berating me, that you're being mean to me, that you're constantly criticizing me and holding me accountable on this high level, that I'm not good enough in the physical body that I'm currently having. And then I can tune into the energy of that part. And that part actually just says, you know what, Christiane, I just want you to be healthy. I want you to honor that vehicle that the universe gave you, this physical vehicle, and you want to be in your 80s, you want to grow old. So by maintaining that vehicle, just like you put an oil in your car and you're taking care of whatever the noises are and you're checking it out, and you're taking care of it and you're doing the maintenance, walking, moving, dancing, stretching, and eating what you consider a good diet. That is what I want for you. I don't hate you. I don't do this to be mean to you. I'm doing it because I want to support you in your wish to live a long, healthy life. Doesn't that sound different? Yeah. And that works for all areas of our lives. It works for our relationships. It works for our relationship with money. It works for our career development and the legacy we want to leave behind. It works for our lifestyle choices. Just acknowledging that those voices, those parts that are talking to us, have a positive intention for us. And then we need to look at, where does it come from? Where did I learn that? Where did I learn to think that way? Because I don't want to take away that I have this part that is looking out for my health and longevity, that wants to encourage me to make the choices that I know over time, as they're adding up, that I'm going to have different results. So for example, I know you've heard it a million times, my big bane is Coca-Cola. And I can totally tell where it comes from. It was that big treat that we would get when there was a party, and then we get one of those tiny little 0.2 glasses that's not even a whole can, and we would get it, and it was warm, by the way, because Germans are not so hot about refrigerating their drinks as much, and we definitely don't use ice. So it was lukewarm Coca-Cola, and it was that special treat, and it was so special, it was so seldom, that I was just like, oh, when it was happening again. Then, when I turned 15 years old, I didn't drink enough water and I was dehydrated a lot. And then I had this one girlfriend and she smoked cigarettes and she drank a lot of Coca-Cola and she read Mad magazine. Do you remember that? Mad magazine with Alfred E. Newman. Best thing ever. Love it, love it, love it. And that was part of my rebellion to read that magazine because that was not acknowledged by my parents. But I got to hang out with her after school. And then she would drink a lot of Coca-Cola, she would smoke cigarettes, and she would read the magazine. And I got into it. And I remember actually manifesting that addiction to it. The bubbles, the sugar, the caffeine in it, and I felt energy again. And because I was dehydrated already anyway, because I didn't drink enough water, then it was essentially my fluid intake. And I can now look back and on all the meaning that I have forged around that intake of that sugary drink. And today is actually day 7 that I haven't had any. I had my last Coca-Colas on New Year's Eve. So super happy about it. I'm enjoying a tea right now. Less sugar in that, honey instead. I bought myself agave syrup. And I'm looking at other things that I can eat and drink that are replacing the substances that I feel are not serving me as much. And again, it's because of the acknowledgement of the part that says, I just want you to be healthy. And I know that with every choice that you're making that is leading towards feeding my body appropriately and what I know works for me versus all the choices that I'm making that don't feed me. I had like 3 cups of coffee, and I do big cups, okay? Whatever, several days ago. It was probably in the last year because I haven't had much coffee since. And I was so jittery. Man, I had the sugar high, I had the creamer high, I had the caffeine high. I was just like, ugh. I could feel it. I was just icky. It felt icky inside. And I was like, yep, too much coffee. Doesn't serve me. I don't want to feel that way. So then the next time when I'm thinking about the 2nd or 3rd cup of coffee, I go, is that really how I want to be feeling? Is that what I want to put in my system? Is that the energy, the baseline, the foundation that I want to enjoy the day through? No, it's not. And then I can pour myself into the water. And that's, for example, what I'm doing. I have my turmeric water sitting back there. And as soon as I drink it, I add more water. So there's always that full glass of water sitting there waiting for me. And then I look at it and I go, need some more water. Make sure I'm hydrated because I have subscribed myself to drinking at least half a gallon of water a day. That's about 2 liters. And that's my absolute minimum. I can feel the difference when I'm doing it. So those are just personal examples to also help you think about your patterns and things that you're doing that you know don't serve you. You're becoming aware of them and then you acknowledge them in a loving, kind manner. Thank you for catching myself. Thank you for the awareness. Then you can ask yourself, how is this serving me? What does this part really want for me by doing this pattern, by having this thought pattern, by having this physical pattern, by feeling this emotion? What does it get for me that I do that? Powerful question. If I were to whittle down what are the 3 most important things you can do, I would say find the positive intent, deal with your parts and talk to them and figure out what the conflicts are, figure out what their message is for you, and then change your beliefs. Change those beliefs. Go into the past, look at where those beliefs are coming from. When did you adopt them? How did you adopt them? Who do you adopt them from? And then do the work with it. And that's exactly what I'm offering to you in those personal sessions. That's what we're doing in those moments, because right now is not the time for that, nor the space, because this is deeply personal work. And everybody has a different story that you get to explore on your own time, with the help, with the support, to then come up with the solutions and realizing that's why I'm doing it. And the words that comes up for me a lot is rebel. I'm a born rebel, and I've been rebellion all my life, as long as I can remember. I do it my way. Don't tell me what to do. Those kind of things. And now the quest has become, okay, this is actually a really worthwhile tool. This is a good skill to have. And how can I channel that in a good way, in a productive way that doesn't sabotage me and my relationships and my life? How can I channel that in a way that it's actually useful to me? Because now, for example, I can rebel against the Coca-Cola machine. And knowing that they're putting addictive substances in it and that the whole marketing scheme is set up in a way to keep driving people into that rut of like, oh, well, that's just what I do. And I've done it with other substances as well. And I'm so grateful, a little proud, and very, very, very happy that there are certain things that I did for multiple decades that have now dropped away. And I'm not doing it anymore. And it's not just with clawing my way into, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. No, it's because it's just not part of my consciousness anymore. I don't even think about it. And I know you've done that too. There are certain things that you were hanging on to, that you were holding on to in the past, that you're just not doing anymore. There was that moment in time, that choice point, you had some kind of an awareness, you acknowledged it, you did the work, and then you changed it. I know so many of you personally, and I know your story, a lot of your story. And I've seen you grow. And I've seen you changing thought patterns, where you did used to play the, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve XYZ. And it's changed. And it's truly flipped into now having positive, beautiful, loving, encouraging thoughts that have become your baseline. Are we going to make mistakes? Are we going to fall off the horse once in a while? Of course. What do we do in that moment? Practice awareness. Hey, I fell off the horse. Ugh. Wow, I just really went down that spiral, didn't I? Wow, I just did a bunch of self-defeating behaviors. I ate that whole box of cookies. Oh my goodness, doesn't feel good. Okay. Talk to the part, apologize to it, have a good conversation with it. Okay, tomorrow we're gonna go back to our old patterns. Learned my lesson, yay. Too many carbs, too much sugar, whatever it is. And by doing that over time, you will re-educate your neurology. And then that information highway gets deepened, it grows, and the information will start flowing down that channel more and more and more. And then the lapses get less and less and less. I don't remember the last time I was steeped in just some serious hopelessness. Oh my God, how am I gonna grow older in my retirement? And oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? Blah, blah, blah. Years, that's years that I was able to really spend a day or even multiple days in that kind of mindset of just worrying and freaking out and anxiety and, what am I supposed to do? And I remember doing that in the past. Nowadays, the turnaround, that's what it's about. Just turning it around, being able to go back to the hopeful space, the positive expectation space. And then things like, Christiana, look at your track record. Look at your life. Look at your reality. Look at this last year and everything you've been able to experience and achieve. You're just making this up in your mind. This is not your reality. This is just some old parts that you're placating. These are some old parts from the past that are just rearing their heads right now, and they have a positive intent. This is just learned behavior. Snap out of it. You don't have to be there. You don't have to do that. You deserve so much better than that. Do you hear that? It is self-coaching, ultimately, and it's soothing. It is with kindness. It's with hopefulness. It's with positive expectation of re-educating those old neurological pathways that are still in there, and every time I do that, they wither away a little more. They get a little smaller every single time, while I'm strengthening the positive pathways that are conducive, that are nourishing, that are getting me exactly what I want. Super crazy example. I'm actually getting ready for the wonderful class that Donna and Cassie are holding this weekend on Saturday. If anybody's interested, make sure that you check it out. Send me a message or write it in the comments. So I'm going to make a vision board and I'm super excited about it. And I have a file that is sitting in my filing system that says vision board on it. And every time I see a cool trip that I want to do, or I'm having some thing I want to acquire, or I have a financial goal or whatever it is, and I see a cool picture in a magazine, or I have an idea, I write it down, it goes in the file. So lo and behold, I took out the file because I'm in this phenomenal retreat that I'm in this week, and it's all about really setting the stage for this new year. And I opened my file and I looked at it, and within the first 4 or 5 pages there was the word Thailand. And I'm like, oh, isn't that funny? And then as I kept flipping, I saw a picture of the very temple that I visited in September. I had cut out that picture over a year ago in a magazine, some travel magazine, because I had the wish to go to Thailand. And it was sitting there in my vision boarding map. And I looked at it and I just started to laugh. I'm like, isn't that amazing? That has been in my consciousness without me knowing it. And it's been sitting there the whole time, and I manifested it. What a trip is that? The same thing with Turkey. I absolutely remember sitting in my parents' living room 3 years ago, watching this beautiful National Geographic special about these people living in these gorgeous houses that were put into the rocks. These are old volcanic rocks that are very cone-shaped, and people are building their house in it. And they're spectacular, beautiful houses in those rocks. And I just remember seeing that for the first time, going, whoa, that is so cool. I want to see that. Wow. I had no idea where it was in Turkey. I just knew it was in Turkey. I had missed the beginning of the show. I just happened to see those pictures and I'm going, wow, that's amazing. I would love to see that. Fast forward, last year, now it's 2 years ago, I'm in Germany. I'm going through my phone. I'm looking at last minute trips. There's this trip to Turkey for $500. Flight, hotel, round trips to Turkey, meals included for $500 for 8 days. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I've always wanted to go to Istanbul. Then I saw that Antalya was part of it, which is the Turkish Riviera. Absolutely gorgeous. I've been there once before. And I said, I want to go there. I'm going to do Istanbul, I'm going to do Antalya, and then we have to drive through the country to get there. Okay, I'm going to do it. So I signed up for the trip. 2 weeks later, I'm going on the trip. Where does the trip take me? Of course, to Cappadocia, which is famous for that kind of building style. And I'm just freaking out as I then got closer to those villages that we were visiting. And I realized what was happening. I'm like, oh my God, that's what I saw in that special a couple of years ago. And you guys, we're doing that all the time. We're doing it all the time. As soon as you have a vision, as soon as there's something that gets your interest, that you're excited about, because that's the important thing. It's not just seeing it or talking to yourself about it. It's also how you feel about it. That it gets that excitement, that passion, and you're just like, oh my God, I really want to do this, and yes, I can do it, and yes, I deserve it, and oh my God, it's going to be so much fun. Right now, I just got an invitation to go to Japan for a whole month. And I'm going, isn't that interesting? I've been to Japan 3 times, at the airport. I've been sitting in Narita a few times, 3 times exactly. Got a little massage, had some wonderful Japanese food, looked out the windows at Tokyo and thinking, oh man, how silly is that I've been to Japan 3 times and I've never left the airport because it was just a stopover, okay? And so I'm going, I want to go to Japan. And I've had that in my mind. And I'm super interested in Zen Buddhism. I love the architecture anyway of Asia. And so I'm like, yeah, I want to go to Japan. And that's been just here for a few years. Haven't really done anything about it. And then friend says, oh, we're going to Japan in November. Would you like to join us? And I'm like, oh my God, there it is. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. And that's that moment right now. And to me, it's a buzz. I feel a buzz in my stomach. I feel a buzz in my legs. The buzz comes up through my torso. And then when it comes to my head, I usually get teary. That's my highest. And just feeling it, it's so awesome. That's when I know I'm right on. I'm so excited. I'm so into it. I'm totally committed to it. Like, I know this is going to happen. I know it is. And it's just fascinating to me. So get really, really clear on what you want. Trust those visions, those things that keep coming up. Oh, I would love to have this dog. Or, oh man, I would like to have this new kitchen. Or, oh man, this is my dream job. Or, I really want to visit this country or this place. Oh, I would love to meet so-and-so and study with them. Or whatever it is. And it can be very short-term goals. Or it can be long-term goals. Right now, it's about, I want to reset my neurology, I want to declutter my neurology, and I want to let go of that which doesn't serve me anymore. That's what I'm excited about. And that's why I'm doing this bootcamp, because it keeps me 100% accountable. It makes me show up every day. Because I'm a very loyal person, and when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Especially when I say it to other people. And thank you, every single one who's on that journey with me, for yourself as well. That you are totally excited about, hey, I'm decluttering my life, I'm decluttering my closet, I'm decluttering my kitchen, I'm decluttering my basement, my garage, my attic, I'm decluttering my body. I'm creating a new baseline for myself, I'm resetting my system, I'm rebooting my system, that's why boot camp. We are rebooting, and I'm excited about it. I'm not trudging along, I can't have sugar anymore. I'm now excited about how can I replace sugar. And for example, I'm getting myself beautiful nut mixes, and I'm putting in cherries, dried plums, dried raisins, because that helps me with that sweetness craving that I have. And there's so many wonderful dishes. I always love cheese with some special jelly or marmalade, and then on a cracker, or grapes. Oh my God, do I love grapes. And I got myself a dragon fruit. I still have half of it. That's my treat now, and I'm totally excited. So it's not about, I can't have XYZ. It's about, yeah, I get to have dragon fruit later. Or I made a banana for Clover before the meeting, and it smelled so good. And I'm like, I'm looking forward to having a banana later. So do you hear the difference? It is about being really clear. This is what I want. This is what I'm creating for myself right now. This is what I'm attracting. I'm putting it into my vortex by wishing it, by making the declaration, by committing myself. It is done. It is real. In the energetic realm, it already is done. It exists. Now, through every thought, through every feeling, through every action, I'm manifesting it into more and more physical reality until it is locked in to my physical reality, what I can measure, what's tangible. I can observe it, I can see it, I can hear it, I can feel it. Wow, powerful, you guys, and so much fun. It is fun. Make it a fun journey, an exciting journey. And you can program yourself to have that be your baseline emotionally. So if that's the only thing that you're taking away with you today, then I'm feeling fantastic. that you got that. Get very, very clear. This is the kind of body I want. These are the kind of relationships I want. This is how I want my bank account to look, my investment portfolio. This is how I want my career to flow. This is the kind of lifestyle that I want to live on a daily basis, where I always have enough time to meditate. I get up in the morning, I look at the sunshine and I go, thank you, sun, thank you, thank you, thank you. And one of the things that I'm conditioning myself right now is I want to do the 7 directional prayer every day when I go up, when I get up. First thing, just welcome the new day, drink a nice glass of turmeric water, and then look outside, go, yeah, it's a beautiful day. And then give thanks. Thank you to the winds of the east. And I have my ritual with that. Thank you to the winds of the south. Thank you to the winds of the west. Thank you to the winds of the north. Thank you above. Beautiful universe, Mother, Father, Sun, Grandma Moon, stars, planets. Thank you for allowing me to feel this oneness and to be present. And then thank you, Earth. Thank you, physical reality, tangible reality, for allowing me to be here and have this amazing adventure. And then thank you, myself. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being present. Thank you for this life I'm creating for myself. Aho. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes to run through the whole process. And I've been doing it since the first, every day. And it shapes my experience right there. Because it sets the intent. It creates the framework that I now get to experience the rest of the day with. And just like that, in the little daily intent setting, we can do it for the whole month. And that's what I'm offering to you right here, to make it a very powerful, strong, purposeful, fulfilling, meaningful beginning of the whole year. Because when you set your intent for the whole year, and that's why the vision boarding is such a powerful tool, because by putting it on a piece of paper or by putting it on your desktop, you're constantly informing your mind. And even if it's just a piece of literature that you're cutting out and you're putting in a vision boarding map, or you're cutting out this picture of this temple you want to see, or you want to go to Peru, or you want to walk on the Chinese wall, or you want to go to Germany, whatever it is, or the kind of relationships you want to form, of a beautiful intimacy where you have wonderful, clear, compassionate boundaries. You know who you are, you know who the other person is, and then it becomes this beautiful flow back and forth. And it's exciting to be with that person, or your family members. And financial goals. So having that clarity, making that very strong intent, it's going to create the framework for you. And I already have a totally full calendar. Now that I put Japan, I penciled it in for November. Let's see how the rest of the year goes. And if I'm still totally inclined to do it, let's say by the summertime when it gets real, buying tickets, really starting to look at hotels, Airbnbs, what are all the things I want to look at, what are the kind of sightseeing we want to do, what is the rest of the group interested in, and so on and so on. And then I know I am constantly keeping that in the back of my mind. It's constantly informing me. And then all of a sudden, someone gives me something from Japan, and someone else talks about Japan, and then someone has this beautiful book about Japan, and I'm scrolling through YouTube, and then all of a sudden there's, oh, things to do in Japan. It's just fascinating. And you know, every time, appreciation, awareness, acknowledgement. Hey, there's another cue. Hey, there's another synchronicity. Isn't that interesting? How Japan just keeps showing up. Isn't that interesting? And you've done it, you've done it, you've done it. So maximize on that energy because you've done it. You have done things mentally to change your thought patterns. And now you have different thoughts cruising around your mind much more often than other thoughts that you didn't want anymore in the past. You've done it emotionally. You have cultivated feelings of gratitude, of trust, freedom, happiness, love, fulfillment, compassion, and so many more wonderful words over time. Remember last year I started talking about freedom, adventure, and impact? Lo and behold, my level of freedom, of internal freedom, as well as my time freedom, my financial freedom, my going out into the world freedom has exponentially risen. And the adventures I got to have, that Thailand showed up, that Turkey showed up, that Tunisia showed up, the 3 months plus months I spent in Germany, and the amazing trips I got to take there. Invitations by friends, invitations by family members, things I organized myself, going to the monasteries, going to different temples, and I love the domes and all that kind of stuff, and just walking around in those medieval little villages and cities and climbing on the watchtowers. And I mean, it's just spectacular, absolutely spectacular. So that word freedom and adventure and impact that I've woven around my experience this last year has brought me experiences, people, circumstances, situations that matched that vibration. So I would like for you to really take the months of January and get really serious, distinct, committed, and put it out into the universe. And not in that, oh, wouldn't that be nice if it would happen? Make it a strong intent. It's a bow and an arrow, and you're shooting that arrow towards your target. I am in the process of attracting. I am getting healthier minute by minute. I am making better and better choices that nourish my body, my mind, my spirit, my heart. Take these 30 days and really use them to set in motion what you would like to have happen throughout the year. And I posted the statistics, about 70% of people never even starting the process. And that to me is devastating, bums me out, really bums me out. And it goes hand in hand with the research that Harvard University did in the early 80s, when they figured out that about 5% of the students had written down life goals. And those 5%, 20 years later, when they were interviewed, in comparison to the 95%, the 5% held 95% of the wealth. And that's just one measure. My measure is actually happiness and fulfillment and living a meaningful life. So by writing down those kind of goals about what do I want my physical body to be like, including my mental and emotional well-being, and my mental, emotional health, my spiritual health. What do I want my finances to look like a year from now? What do I want to achieve financially throughout this year? What do I want to achieve in the realm of relationships? With, most importantly, my very, very close family system. My circle of friends, my circle of acquaintances, my students, my followers, my community, my world that I get to be in touch with. Even sitting next to a stranger in an airplane, or waving someone through the intersection going, yeah, I have time, don't worry. Or standing in the grocery store with my 3 items and the person in front of me has 30 items in their basket and me going, who cares? I have time. I don't need to get in front of them. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, the person will turn around and go, oh, why don't you go first? My career development, the impact I want to make. I have totally shifted that from, I'm afraid to be vulnerable and put myself out there because I'm so terrified to being judged, or that people don't like my message, or that they're saying, you with your law of attraction, you're just full of crap. I've heard it. There's still people who say, I don't believe in that. I don't think you can do that all the time. And then now I'm just like, you know what? All I can do is put it out there. And then who is attracted to it will be attracted to it. and they're going to show up. And it's going to be perfect because it is what it is. And all I can do is share it, and that's enough. Ah, feels so good. That's plenty. That's all I can do. And now more and more people showing up. It's just amazing. So that's the work, and then lifestyle. To me, time is the ultimate measure. It's the ultimate riches that I get to choose how I spend my time. And if I want to work at 3 o'clock in the morning, then I do it. A lot of times I'm up very early because in China it's 15 hours later, and I want to be respectful of their time frames. I'm not going to call someone at 10 o'clock at night their time. And a lot of times they are busy. So yeah, I do a lot of stuff between 3 and 5 in the morning with China, because that is a really great time to reach them, to do coaching with them, to do negotiations with them, to have business meetings, talk to my friends. It's my choice to do that. And then 8 hours to Germany. So I'm always living in 3 time zones in my life. And I'm constantly negotiating between those 3 continents when it's a good time to send a message or to text someone, hey, is this a good time to chat? And that is my choice, and that's important to me, because remember, the rebel goes, you're not going to tell me when to do it. But when I get to choose when to do it, I have no problem getting up at 3 in the morning and doing those things. So that is for me one of those lifestyle choices that I make consistently. And those of you who are self-employed, you've heard it before. Should I get a real job? And that just is one of those sayings. I'm like, nope, talk to the hand. I'm not playing that game anymore, because to me it's not worth it to have that business telling me how to dress and when to show up and how many days of vacation I can take and so on and so on and so on. Nope, I made that choice, and the rebel of me is very happy with that. And you just take however that works for you, because I absolutely honor the fact that people cherish their W-2 and having a dependable paycheck, which I don't. I work from project to project, and that freaks my parents out. How can you live like that, you know? So you have to find your own way, but make it your choice, and then stand behind it and be excited about it. Don't trudge to the job. Don't trudge through your day. Don't trudge through life. Please, please, please. And if that is your MO right now, then please take these 30 days and change that. Clarity of your vision, excitement in your heart. That's creating the coherence between your brain and your heart. And there is phenomenal research about that and what it does for our mental, emotional, spiritual, physical health. If you want more on that, check out Heart Math. I've been a huge fan of them for a long, long time. Greg Braden was the teacher who made me aware of them. I got that little machine that actually measures the coherence between your head and your heart, and it's absolutely phenomenal to see how much your thought process will influence the coherence between head and heart, and then that vibration, that frequency that we send out into the universe, okay? So I hope that this gives you lots of things to think about, that you got very, very, very inspired. Well, I'm definitely inspired right now, and I'm totally excited. I can hear Clover. She's getting ready to hang out again, and we're going to do some work together. And then we are going to be playing together again, and then I'm going to be doing some more work. I have some coaching clients today. And then I'm just going to go through the day and have the most fun possible, and have the most joy, and spread the most joy possible. So be clear on what you want. Daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, have a life vision, and then cultivate the emotional state through the thoughts that you are feeding your heart. And when you catch yourself, practice gratitude and awareness. Hey, I'm doing it right now. Cool, what do I want instead? If it's persistent, get help. If you can't figure it out by yourself, I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. I'm doing these daily posts, and then you get to choose if you want to be part of the 30% who actually does take action and is going to do something with the goals that you're having. And then you heard the statistics that after 1 month, we only have 15% left. After 1 year, it's less than 3%. That's crazy to me. What a waste of energy. Wow, what a waste of time. So please, don't be a statistic. Don't be the 70%. Don't be the 15% either. Be the 5% who wrote down their goals and who has something to show for it 20 years later. Financially, relationship-wise, health-wise, and so on and so on. Whatever is important to you, okay? And with that, I'm going to leave it off for today. We have our whole hour. I'm very grateful that you showed up today. And if you couldn't be there in person, I'm very grateful that you took the time to look at it later. And let this influence your next 7 days. Let this be part of your journey. And let me support you, and let all of us support you as we're witnessing each other's growth. And you can't do me a greater favor than actually sharing your journey in our bootcamp group. Make sure that you're posting every few days. Hey, this is my latest insight. Hey, this is something I'm working on right now. Hey, I'm committed and I'm just putting it out there. So I'm committing myself on a higher level. And I know you guys are supporting me, you're witnessing me, okay? There is no greater pleasure for me than to reading your comments and to hearing your journey. Okay, my friends? So, with that, time to go into the day and have a fabulous, fabulous experience. And I wish you the very same. See ya!